What is going on, everybody? I am Jumbo Thick here with more Whispers from the Stars. This is our Emberfell campaign, and I, of course, will be your GM, your DM for the night, Mr. Jumbo Thick. And I'm joined by what is tentatively known as the Emberfellas.
Emberfellas.
It's in workshop. I'm not sold. Everyone else might be. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Emberfellas of Emberfell?
Yeah, the Emberfellas of Emberfell. It just rolls off the tongue. So, regardless, though, we are here with everyone tonight, and we're going to do a brief intro for everybody. Go ahead and if they have any other places on the internet you would like to be found, I know one of you that might want to talk about that. You can say that, and we will just get right into it. So let's scroll on over to my. This gets complicated because it's reverse. My right on when I'm looking at my screen. So old Zaltkar, the man Dan. If you care to introduce yourself.
Hello there, internet viewers. This is Dan. And you can find me on the internet machine at DanDeckr Twitter, and everything spawns from there. I will be playing Zaltkar Krugen for at least a little bit more of this session, hopefully a lot longer than this. He's currently in pretty rough shape, 2 levels of exhaustion. We've just gotten ourselves out of a pretty bad scramble, and maybe we get to go rest at our friend's farm. Maybe we do.
Indeed. Maybe. We'll see. But speaking of your friend's farm, let's scroll on down to Doobie 209, Mr. Dayu. Care to introduce yourselves?
What's going on, everybody? I am playing Dayu, the male hobgoblin monk. And you want to do appearances again or no?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Red skin, black hair pulled back in a bun, with a gray in it, and has a beard that's also has gray in it because he's in his 40s. Yellow eyes, wears a blue kimono top with a greenish kimono pants bottom.
Yes.
Carries a Yumi on him right now, and it's about 5'11", 165.
He's a big guy. He's
size
5'11". Yeah. And for all of you out there that don't know what a Yumi is, that's a bow.
The bow.
Just so you know. So, yeah.
Yumi's Tontos and Katanas in this campaign.
We're going, I might interchange them, but yeah. Speaking of interchangeable, let's scroll on over to, the man, the legend, Jumbo Smooth, also known as Rogar.
Hello everyone, I am Jumbo Smooth, also known as Matt. I'll be playing the role of Rogar this evening, and Rogar is a 7'5", 400-pound dragonborn from the frigid waste up north in Drolora. He's a white dragonborn. He's got tribal markings, like blue tribal markings across his body. He wears very little clothes. He has some leathers and pelts upon his person. He's got kind of a grayish white fur across his shoulders. Teeth, trophies around his neck and wrists and hands from various hunts he's been a part of. He carries a large, I guess, like executioner's sword made of bone with some draconic runes engraved in that kind of glow a faint blue light. Rogar's eyes are blue itself. That's Rogar.
That is indeed the slab of meat that is Rogar. Speaking of a slab of meat, kind of. Scroll on up to old Tuk Tuk. Care to introduce yourself, sir?
He's a small slab. I'm Jeff Tucker, and you can find me at Mr. Funk Trunk. That's my handle for Twitter. That's my handle for video games, everything. At Mr. Funk Trunk. Yeah, and I'm playing Tuk the Taker. He is a goblin, 3'9". He is about 70 pounds.
Oh shit! That's it. He's only 70 pounds. Yeah. Oh,
which is
small.
Well, goblins kind of max out at 80
true.
pounds. So
I guess that's true.
He's at the upper end. Yeah. He's kind of light, but he's short and stocky for a goblin. He's got 2 large goblin ears with 2 gold loops on one of them. He's got a blue eye and a green eye. The green eye is like a dark kind of foresty green. Blue eye is like an icy white blue. Excuse me. He wears a gray vest, like studded leather, with a black shirt underneath that has a little hood on it. And he wears black ninja pants and black ninja shoes.
I love ninja pants. Anyway.
But I imagine he's got a tanto on his hip, a couple daggers, and a crossbow.
Indeed.
He doesn't have the crossbow feet, so
Yeah, who needs that? Who needs that?
He's got green goblin skin.
Green goblin skin. So, with that, since everyone is finally been introduced, let's do just a brief recap this time, and then we'll delve right into the action because we got some stuff coming. So, last we left off, the party had found themselves in a desperate situation, attempting to escape from some kind of laboratory, some kind of research station of some kind underground. And unfortunately, all of you were left to die by a very lovable character by the name of Slit Graventongue, as he stole the only key you had found and escaped and left you to rot. Fortunately, he did leave the door to the armory open, so you were able to recover your belongings. In addition to that, the most of the party was unconscious when we first began, with Rogar and the Captain Redclaw, being the only ones of able body and mind. After a few attempts by Rogar to awaken and revivify his party members, they finally just did so on their own. Apparently the poison inflicted upon them wore off, and they came to their senses. However, you needed to find a key to get out. And in so doing, you searched around the research facility, looking for clues, looking for keys, particularly a set of keys that was on the companions of Redclaw that have gone missing. You did find, in addition to that, you found quite a few health potions, I might add, and you also found a interesting diary of a very famous ship's captain that I believe Tuk has in his possession currently. Him and Zoltkar may or may not be doing some research on that eventually. You followed your leads back to the laboratory up a hole in the ceiling and discovered what can only be described as a nest of some kind, as the foul creatures that have been running amok across this research station, inflicting madness and all kinds of horror upon you, was apparently from this area. After climbing up, lighting a torch, you discovered that most of the individuals from this facility were webbed to the walls. It was a much more larger cavern than you might have suspected. Over 60 feet tall, large gaping areas, very rough and kind of strange textures to the wall and the floor, almost like an organism. In addition to this, Zoltkar found the charges that he was sent to discover their whereabouts and or their demise, which he did actually perform on one of them. You found one of them was very definitely dead.
It was a mercy.
Well, we'll say it was mercy. We'll say it was mercy. You did find another one who was attached to a wall, and instead of, cutting your fellow hound free, decided to slit her throat and have her take her secrets to her grave, whatever they may be. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Only time will tell. Regardless, though, Rogar and Dayu did find the key off of one of the corpses of one of Captain Redclaw's fallen men. And in so doing, also awakened the remnants of what was the hive creatures as they assaulted all of you. Zoltkar taking the brunt of one of the hive lurkers, which took to his fancy, got so far as to render him unconscious and began spiriting away with his body up into a hole in the ceiling. Through the actions of Rogar, Dayu, and Tuk, you managed to slay the other remaining creatures, and in a desperate shot, Tuk felled the beast at its zenith at the 60-foot height, with Zoltkar falling limply towards the ground. Rogar having the opportunity to cushion his fall, but not willing to take the damage from the bath of acid that spread out around the creature, let Zoltkar smack into the ground. Luckily, he did not instantly die, but he is not in a good place right now. Having retrieved the key, retrieved Zoltkar's unconscious body once again, you scaled down the hole to find Captain Redclaw unconscious as well. Tuk and Dayu both inspected him and could not find the cause of what had happened to him. But you needed to leave now. And so you scooped him up and you quickly moved through the facility out the door. And we left off as the hatch was opened and you pushed out into unstale, clean air. And that's where we are picking up. It is not Dayu's farm. And unfortunately, the one man in this party, well, there technically would be two, but the captain is also unconscious. Zoltkar does know where you are because he, in fact, came here looking for people. He, however, is unconscious. So I can tell you now, I will need a. We'll call this a. Oh man, what do I want to call this? Let's call this a history check from both Tuk and Dayu, since you are locals to the dynasty.
Dayu got a 19.
19, very good. How about Tuk?
I rolled a 17 plus 0. 17.
17. Okay. Yeah, I mean, those are both pretty damn good.
Fantastic for me.
So, we'll say Dayu comes up to it a little bit faster than you do. First off, the first thing you see is that as you step out, you can see that it is early morning. However, interestingly enough, the whole of your surroundings is bathed in green, twinkling light. As you look up, the three of you that are still conscious, you look up, and you see in the sky that the normal suns that that Emberfell circles are blotted out by a massive green-looking star of some kind. And in so doing, there is a very odd eclipse happening right now, a mingling of light, and the whole world is bathed in green. This is, of course, a special time in Emberfell, which all of you would know as Strix, a holy day within the dynasty, a holy day for rest of the dead.
Would Rogar have it known as something else?
You would probably, yes, you would know it as something else. It would definitely be, it's a celestial event, so it happens to the entire planet. So you would have something to do with this as well.
It's Wookiee Life Day, dude.
Wookiee Life Day?
Yeah.
We'll call it that. We'll call it Wookiee Life Day. Oh, well. Okay. So, with that, you see the land layout before you. You are kind of at the bottom of the hill as you look back. There is a rather large hill that you just came out of. You do see the blue blossom tree that Zoltkar had sprung from behind to your left when he murdered a lone goblin, and there is dry blood on the ground next to you of a smaller creature. But looking around, I would say that Dayu's the first one to spot it, being older and used to doing jobs around the dynasty. That you spot a set of stars that even during the event you can still pick out, and judging from the angle and some of the topography where you're at, you think that you are near the city of Conwitch. Well, I shouldn't say city. I should say village. You're near the village of Conwitch, which is a route that Dayu takes often. Not necessarily out of necessity, but you will have done some trade with an individual that hails from Conwitch that passes through. And occasionally when you don't want to make the trip to Port Dorona yourself, you will just come up to him and arrange a deal where he will take your goods into town and he will just give you a cut. So, regardless, that is that, and you have discovered you are within a day's ride in it would be in a northeastern direction from where you are located currently. Well, a day's walk, excuse me.
Yeah. Question real quick about the Strix.
Yes.
So this is it's a yearly thing?
Every year. During Strix.
And the eclipse always happens.
The eclipse happens every year. Strix happens, and it essentially a star eclipses the entire world for a full day. And the suns are almost blotted out entirely in green twinkling light. And this would be a holy day for certain religions, probably none that you guys are overly familiar with. You might be familiar with some of them. But this is a holy day for the followers of Mito, the chaperone of souls.
What about the general public? How does the general public view this day?
This would be kind of like the Day of the Dead in Mexico.
So it's fun. It's a fun festival type atmosphere.
In certain places, it is. In other places, it's more of a day of mourning. It's more of a day of taking stock of one's family, and it's a holy day in this order. In that, for some reason, well, you guys wouldn't know this, so I can't go much further than this. This is what you get, your general knowledge. So you have an unconscious captain and an unconscious Zoltkar. What would you guys like to do?
Dear God,
damn shame.
We're about a day's walk from there.
Does anybody know how we can wake these guys up? Anybody have any ideas?
He looks around.
Don't shake him, Ruba.
Go ahead and give me a perception test. You do have heightened hearing, so your disadvantage turns into just a straight roll.
This poison?
You guys are all exhausted. Now, Zoltkar, you guys would know. Zoltkar is poisoned, and the poison, unless you have some way of removing it, renders the person paralyzed and unconscious for a full hour. So
an hour. Okay.
He's not going to be waking up for probably, I'll say, another 40 minutes.
Okay.
I got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right. So Dayu, you kind of tilt your head and listen, and you hear almost like snoring in the distance. It's a pretty good distance away. It sounds like it doesn't sound like a humanoid. It sounds almost like a beast of some kind. And with the dirty 20, you do hear more than one It would be down the somewhat kind of gamey like path that's running from the entrance to this facility that runs out somewhere. You're not exactly sure where, but it is along that path.
It's not on the main road.
No, you don't even know where the main road is.
Okay.
You're assuming it's somewhere nearby. There is a road, but you don't see it from where you're at.
Can I climb the hill to look for such road?
Sure.
You said there's a large hill.
Yes, there is.
Is it close enough to walk to, or is it like?
Oh yeah. You could easily walk up, and I will say you're kind of almost in like a valley a little bit. It's not like an extreme valley. Just the hills are 30, 40 feet tall or so, and you kind of walk up one. Are the rest of you just kind of hanging back, or are you guys going with them?
Assuming we're moving away from this facility.
Okay. All right.
You
go to move up. Once you guys all get to the top of the hill, there's also another blue blossom tree. And you guys will know that blue blossoms only bloom during the winter. So it is actually wintertime. Now, it is a clear night, which is somewhat unusual in the but it might have something to do with the celestial thing taking place. Regardless, though, it is a little chilly. Rogar feels nothing. If anything, it might be warm to Rogar. The rest of you, it's just a little chilly. Not too bad. And you get to the top of the hill, and you begin to look over. Dayu, with your previous perception test, I'll tell you, as you look over to your right, you see down the kind of gamey path, and you see there is a somewhat hidden. Looks like a building, quote unquote. Looks like it's hewn out of the natural rock, and you do see what looks like lots of markings, like stuff has been entering in and out quite a bit. You would also see to your left as you look down about 2-3 miles, and you guys can see very well from this height. It's not all rolling hills, but you do see a few miles to your left. You do see the road. And I will say, this isn't like cobblestone roads. This is just a well-worn road. Yeah.
That's the road we need. Take us to Conwitch. Hopefully by then, Red Claw will be awake. Oh, by the way, we see Zal's character now in daylight?
Yes, in the somewhat. Well, here's the thing: it's green, so it's hard to tell what he looks like completely. Unfortunately, you would notice he has strange markings on his body. Yeah. None of you would have seen someone from his order ever. They're very mysterious, and I will say that Dayu and Tuk Tuk, when the captain mentioned who he was or what he was, that these are essentially tales that little kids are told to behave. They're told about basically they're told about Elysia, and that if you're not good, she will lock you up for eternity. And these are her minions.
Don't tell your lies, man. Don't tell lies.
These are the minions that come out and fetch bad children. Now, obviously, there's something to the myth, but yes, this is probably the first time you've ever heard or seen of anyone like this, and it is highly unusual because even in the stories, they're always women, and he's obviously a man.
I would ask, real guy, do I see the tracks or whatever?
Oh yes, I will say from up here, you would have seen also the those tracks that I just described for Dayu from the kind of small, kind of recessed, somewhat building.
Real guy, I get the feeling you're like a hunter, or like you've got all those teeth and claws or whatever around your neck, on the necklace. Do you recognize these tracks? Dayu, do you?
I would look at him if allowable, I guess.
Yeah, sure. You can give me a survival roll.
Okay. 8. You know,
8.
I'm not too familiar with this
You
land.
can, you can see, you're not very familiar at all, but as you're looking down, you kind of, they look like, I don't know, a lot of things have passed through here. Animals, more than likely. Larger than
big, right?
larger than normal humanoid tracks.
Rogar would just be like, small one, I am not familiar with these lands. And as I kind of just lift up the 2 men that I'm carrying, I would see this one healed. And I would like point towards Redclaw.
Yeah.
This Conwitch, shall we let us go? And Rogar is going to start walking down towards the trail.
And he has no idea which direction the city is, but he begins walking down there.
Walking down.
He's just walking down.
Rogar's not the smartest.
He's not the smartest individual. It's fine.
No.
He knows there's a path somewhere.
Yes.
So,
Hold on, Biggin. Dayu, this is your town, right? This is your land, right? You from here?
I do live in this area.
Which way do we go?
Once we get to the road, we're going to go north.
Okay. Which way is the road?
That way.
Because he's the one that did the check.
that way.
Road, right?
Yeah. You guys can all see it. You can see the road.
Follow me.
Yeah.
I
Do
feel
be
like
careful,
I hear
little one.
Okay.
I do hear beasts in the tall grass.
Ooh.
Do you think it's something we should be wary of? Should we take a wide berth around it? I don't want to. We just fought some crazy alien shit, and we got 2 dead guys with us.
Bet you did.
Paralyzed. We're not really in a spot to fight. Do you think maybe we should take a wide berth around the game trail?
I don't know how far they are, but we could also probably use some food.
But do these prints look like an animal that we would hunt, or they look more like hunters?
You can give me a survival check. You have disadvantage currently, if you'd like.
I do.
Otherwise, you're going to get what Rogar got.
I have disadvantage?
Yes, you have exhaustion.
Yep.
Yeah, because of your exhaustion. Yeah.
I rolled a 13 twice, and I get a +1, so 14.
Okay, 14. With a 14, Tuk, what you see is kind of looking the way they're spaced out. I think these are wolves. Big wolves.
Much bigger than me.
And you would know that Tuk, especially in the military, they ride wolves. And these would be the equivalent of horses. You would also see that there are some other tracks that you're not as familiar with. That are there's kind of like 2 entrances to this building, and they're going from the other entrance. And with the 14, you would recognize there's some other beast or beasts in the other entrance, but you would only recognize the wolves.
So it's like a stable.
Perhaps.
Well, I would, with my history that I rolled earlier, went out. I would tell them these might be mounts. I don't know how friendly they are, but if the military rides them, maybe we could ride them too. I don't know if
they're the wolf riders.
We could at least go take a check, right? Should we scope it out?
Maybe they'll see Redclaw with us.
Possibility.
I have no interest in checking out this building.
I think if it would take time off of our journey, get us to your farm faster. It's a Conwitch, so we can get a sandwich at Conwitch.
It's going to take us like a day at least.
It'd be a full day walking, a full day, like 24 hours. So you'll probably have to sleep outside at some point if you're walking.
All right. We have no time for this, little one.
It's on the way, isn't it?
No, I mean it's
on the way.
It's up to you if you want to go to the shack. You don't have to go to the shack. What could be in the shack? Come on, guys.
How far away is the shack?
I would say it's just maybe 100 yards. Not very far.
I have to say, the player Jeff is really fighting the character because I want to ride a fucking wolf so
Do
bad.
it. Go there.
But I also
Get
know
you a
there
wolf.
could be an alien in that shit.
I mean, come on. You know, I wouldn't do
Well,
that
if you
to
guys
you.
don't think it's a good idea, then we'll just skirt around.
Rogar just kind of standing there looking at the two conversing back and forth.
Rogar, what do you think? You could put those bodies on a wolf, so you wouldn't have to carry both of them for a whole day, or for an. I guess they'll wake up in an hour.
He's kind of looking at him, shrugging, not really struggling, and
He's like that.
he's gonna just be like,
He's not struggling.
Conwitch, little one.
Have you ever ridden?
You two decide. Should we investigate this small hut? And Rogar's keeping out of it. Whatever they two decide, he's going to go with.
So, decision time, boys.
You ever ridden a wolf, goblin?
Have I ever read the wolf?
No,
I'm
Maybe.
assuming you haven't.
definitely not. No,
You don't look military.
I will say this
I mean-
is this would be like this is like a military. It's like a battle mount. Not even.
Okay.
Yeah, most people don't even get to
Probably
do that.
not. Probably wouldn't let us ride it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could
Tell you
sneak
what.
up and just scope it out and see if there's anything worth us checking out. But no, I've never
Do as
ridden
you
a wolf.
wish.
I mean, you tell me if we've
Me and
got
the
a minute for me to.
Dragonborn. We're going to Conwitch. Do as you wish.
No, I'll come with you guys, and I'll just slink up behind Rogar.
All right. You guys all begin walking. A long walk toward Conwitch. I will say that Zeltkar, you awaken within a little bit of time of all this conversation. You're over Rogar's shoulder. You can see his ass and
A tail?
and a tail.
Yep.
Yes.
That's Emberfell's ass, y'all.
Yes, it is. Just do as you please at this point. You have a
I
long walk ahead of you.
would really like to not die. So what condition am I in? I'm still double exhausted.
I will, because of, you hit me with some inspiration last time. You're only at 2 points of exhaustion.
Yeah.
So that's
But I
good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'm no longer poisoned and paralyzed.
You're no longer poisoned and paralyzed. You just have 2
Sweet.
points of exhaustion.
Dude, and I get to be
And you
not
have
dead.
1 hit point. So there's that. Yeah.
Yay, 1 hit point.
It's better than 0. But
It is much better than zero.
I do need to ask though, who's leading? Who is leading the way?
I assume Dayu.
Dayu? Okay.
assume
Dayu, roll me a d10 because I spent my day yesterday making
Dayu.
tons and tons of tables. It's gonna be great, guys.
Oh, shit. You and your tables.
Do I see Zeltkar waking up?
Yeah, he would be awakened. What'd you roll, Dayu?
What am I rolling?
A d10, please.
Oh, D10. A 4.
4. Okay, very good. This makes perfect sense as well. Dayu, you're leading the way, and you hit the main road. But being someone that's kind of out in the countryside, spent a fair amount of time out in the countryside at this point, you see that there is a smaller trail off to your right that kind of almost shadows the main trail, and then it makes a jagged cut through a nearby hill, and you decide to take this, and it cuts your time to Conwitch in half.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
So instead of having to sleep out here, you guys will arrive in Conwitch as what would be the night is beginning to descend, but there is no night during this day. It is all the same kind of light all day long. But
When we swing by downtown, I need to pay my Conwitch Court bill.
bastard. There you go.
it's a joke for only the people in Central Arkansas.
It is indeed. No one else will
That
get
was
that
a good
joke.
one, though. That was good.
So,
Now they know
But I did derail the game.
bastard. Regardless, though,
Gotta cut this out.
you end up making it to you make it to the outskirts of Conwitch at least.
Did Red Claw? I'm assuming he hasn't woken up at all.
Nope, he is not. He is unconscious this entire. So Rogar's carrying him the entire time.
Oh God, I don't want to take him to the towns. I know what's going to happen.
Would
Am I limping
Rogar?
along? I guess I'm limping along, staring at.
Unless
still
you're
staring at Rogar's
healing
ass.
yourself or something. Yeah, you're the same. You're pretty messed up. You're pretty bad.
Would Rogar, having being so close to Red Claw, notice anything in particular along this 12-hour journey about his person?
Sure. Go and give me an investigation check. Why don't you?
All right, bro. All right, I'll do that.
Do it.
-1. Here we go. Rolled
No.
19, so
Okay,
18.
18. Okay, with an 18, Rogar, you're kind of looking him over, and I will say, as you are approaching, this will be as you're finally hitting the barrier of town, he shifts, and you see his armor kind of shifts on his person, because he is fully armored. He's heavy as shit.
Yeah.
But, you're a strong man. Well, strong dragonborn. And as it shifts, you do see an interesting kind of puncture wound, kind of on his shoulder blade. It's round, and it has a bunch of little marks around it. What does that mean? You didn't see any of these wounds, so you have no idea. No one ever described them to anyone else. So,
Yeah.
you notice he does have a strange wound.
Okay.
But I will say at this point, I need...
Does it look? Would Rogar know if it looks natural, like a natural creature? A creature did this, or does it look like a stab wound?
It definitely doesn't look like a weapon. It definitely looks like some kind of bite, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. At least no weapon that you've ever heard of. So, Dayu, since you're leading, go ahead and give me a perception test.
Oh shit, 23.
23.
Nice.
Holy shit. Let me roll for this.
19.
Yeah, let me roll for this, because this is going to be interesting. That is going to be... Come on, what are you doing? Don't you do this to me. Of course, it's going to do this right now. Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it mess up while I'm recording?
So, guys, do you want to go to Conwitch to get a sandwich? Like, what kind of sandwiches do you think they have in Conwitch? What do you think they have?
I got it back. Okay, so Dayu, I will say you see this before anyone else does, easily. Everyone else is kind of lagging. I'm sure Tuk is kind of, oh shit, I'm not used to walking this long. This is a long walk. Zoltkar's on death's door still, and Rogar's carrying a man as he's kind of looking him over. And Dayu, you're coming up to a very thin amount of trees, kind of outside of the city of Conwitch. And you're probably a few hours away, but the city is encircled by farms, and that's primarily what Conwitch is made of, as farmers and just a handful of fishermen, really. Now, you've never actually been there yourself, but you do know just about the general kind of location. So, you see a large shape kind of looming inside a nearby corpse of trees. And you guys are within, we'll say, probably 100 feet of this shape. It's big. And with that roll, it looks like it's on 4 legs.
Slowly slide the Yumi off of my shoulder.
And as you slide it, you hear a voice. I wouldn't do that.
Show yourself.
And the shape steps out of the trees. It looks like a large wolf. But it looks a little different. The neck is almost like it doesn't have a neck. It's almost like it goes head to body. It's just thick as hell. The head is a little bit flatter than a wolf, and the eyes are very, very red. And the creature opens its mouth. What are you doing here? And you realize it is speaking to all of you in Goblin.
Wolf.
If you would like to figure something out, you can give me an Arcana check
Definitely.
or a history check.
Any of us?
Okay.
I'll give it to everybody but Rogar. Yeah.
All right.
Arcana or history.
Wow.
Out of 5.
Okay. You guys are all at disadvantage, so.
Oh, yeah. Let me roll again because I rolled another 13. But let's roll again.
Yeah, no, it got
10.
worse. It went from an 8 to a 5.
Yep, bad. What do you got?
I rolled a
Took
10.
10?
10.
10 total?
10 total.
Okay.
I got +0 on history.
Took.
Or Arcana.
Yeah, Took, you're kind of, you're the one who's most aware right now as soon as a threat is apparently opened up, and you see a goddamn talking wolf. No idea what the hell this is. It is talking to all of you. Now, it is kind of growly and gravelly. I'm not going to shred my vocal cords to do, but...
do it.
No. No. But it is doing so, currently. What business do you have here? This hour. It is late.
We are trying to make it to Conwitch.
Or sandwich.
He starts smelling. Something smells foul. You have one of those things with you. And he kind of nudges his head towards Rogar.
Rogar just kind of looks at the large creature and kind of doesn't drop him, but kind of puts the captain kind of out a little bit.
He is in need of a healer.
And
We
kind of
come.
Snarls.
He has a wound underneath his arm. Let us pass, or I will make you.
You see the fur bunch up on his back. And Dayus, at this point that you notice, you see 2 more shapes circling around you. There are 3 of these creatures beginning to kind of circle around. And Rogar, you would see this coming at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of see, and these are big. They're big animals.
Put my other hand on my large sword wrapped around my back, you know?
Yeah.
I put my hand on Rogar's left thigh. Tie that reach up.
Dai steps in between them with his hands out. You know, everyone needs to chill the fuck out.
Is it a warg?
You don't know what it is.
Fuck. All right.
You know nothing.
Please.
I reach up and say, whoa. Gentlemen, we mean no harm. We are just travelers looking for a place to rest.
And then you hear a different voice call out. What is it? Bones, did you find something? And you see the creature look back. Here. We've got some intruders. And a man, or a hobgoblin, in kind of, looks like very old looking armor. Of military kind of design. Samurai-like armor. It is black, and he basically only has like the breastplate and essentially like the equivalent of the greaves on, and he has a spear in his hands, and he comes walking up, and you can see he's older, probably older than Dayu. He's an older man by far. You see he has kind of like a bit of a beard. It's kind of like almost white at this point. And he kind of looks over a lot of you. Interesting. I haven't seen you anywhere. And he looks over to Rogar. You keep strange company. And then he looks down at the prostrate form of Captain Redclaw and sees him. What have you done?
This man needs help.
We saved him.
I'm going to need a persuasion check
Don't say persuaded.
from someone.
God.
I need a persuasion check from
I'll
someone.
do it. I got
There are certain individuals that are pretty good
do
at
it.
this.
That's
I'm
true.
just saying,
Do it.
there is a certain
do
person
it.
that's good at
Let
it.
me do it. At least I'm neutral on it right now.
What are you going to say, though, Zaltkar? I want to hear
it's-
this first.
Disadvantage. I got a... Dude, my dice keeps rolling 13. I got a 16 on mine.
Okay. Let's see what Zaltkar's got.
We're not here to cause any trouble. We need to make our way to safety.
Mm-hmm. And let's see.
Oh, yes. That was a natural 20 plus 3.
Did you
A
roll
disadvantage?
it with disadvantage?
I don't have disadvantage because I have advantage on persuasion.
Are you wearing the mask currently?
Of course I'm wearing the
Okay,
mask. I
it's
put all my
currently-
shit back
So
on.
I will say his face is completely obscured by this
Okay.
mask. Now you haven't turned into anything though. You haven't taken on a different form, Zaltkar. Okay.
No.
But he does have advantage, so it's just a straight roll. Very
Nice.
good. So Zaltkar, the hobgoblin kind of veteran soldier, kind of looks. Well, it's okay, Bones. It's okay. And then he begins to walk forward, and Bones walks with him by his side. They walk up to you, and the creature speaks in a strange language, and the two other forms that were circling you fade back into the countryside, somewhere going somewhere else.
Would I know?
You do not know the language.
Not abyssal or celestial.
It is not. It is not a language any of you are familiar with.
Okay.
So, let's put it like that. The man comes up to you, and he looks down at the captain. Where is he injured? How bad is it?
Rogar will point out under his arm and kind of lift up his arm, I guess.
Yeah. Is he is the captain face down?
I have him in my hand. Like I have.
Oh, you kind of picked him up.
I have.
When
I have him kind of like just
Yeah.
holding with one arm and just kind of showing.
Yeah. As soon as he sees his face, he's like, "Quickly, Bones, take him!" And he kind of tries to take him from you and put him on the creature with him.
Rogar will hand him out to him.
Bring him back to the house. I'll have Kilk's call for Nazir. And Bones kind of nods his head and gallops away very quickly. Very quickly, I might add.
Is the old man running with him or riding with him?
He's with you.
Okay.
And he's come this way. We'll meet him there.
Yeah, Rogar's moving at a quick pace. He doesn't want Red Claw out of his sight.
Yeah.
So
As you're walking, and he kind of goes shoulder to shoulder with most of you. And he looks panicked as he's moving towards what you now see after you get over the curve of these woods. There is a farmhouse. There are very familiar scents and sounds to Dayu, as this is a rice farm. And there's actually, it looks like there has been an irrigated stream that floods into the biting waves up here. And currently, because it is the middle of winter, there is no rice that he currently has cultivated, but you do see a bit of like not really a silo, but more of like a storage building, a shed, a barn, I guess. Like a barn. I don't know why the hell I said shed. It's a barn. Where more than likely his goods are being kept for the winter and being doled out as needed. And he moves towards the main house. It is important to note that there doesn't appear to be much of a fence around any of this. There is a few beasts of burden that you see nearby, kind of grazing. You see, they're called ox, and they look basically like buffalo. maybe slightly bigger. They are definitely large creatures, and they are beasts of burden, usually used for anything from moving a cart to plowing a field. They can be used for all kinds of things, and you do see two of those kind of in the barn, kind of poking their heads out of an open little slat. And I'm assuming all of you are running, kind of moving with him quickly. Yeah. You guys all make it.
What's his name again?
What was that?
What's his name again?
He hasn't introduced himself yet.
He hasn't given it.
He hasn't given his name yet. But you all make it to the door of the barn, or to the door of the farmhouse. And he grabs a hold of it and slides it, because all the doors are sliding doors. You would notice that all the exterior door is actually has paper, and there are kind of holes in the paper. This is very standard in the Dynasty. There are also kind of paper shaded windows that you see along the edges of the house. But the rest of it's made out of firm wood. As he slides the door, there's a few paper lanterns lit along the porch, and there's a glow coming from a fire within inside. He quickly moves in, and Bones is nowhere to be seen. But the Captain Redclaw is laying on a mat in the center of the room with another hobgoblin, a female hobgoblin, kind of running a cloth over his forehead. An elderly-looking woman, almost similar in age to your new companion. And she calls out, "Boris, what happened? This is a Redclaw, yes?" Yes, Cross. I sent for him to see you. Did Bones? Yes, he went. Good. Keep the young ones in their beds. I feel I have much to speak with these newcomers. She kind of looks at all of you. As you will. And she stands up. And she's wearing like a kimono of sorts. And she walks down the hall. You're assuming to where bedrooms might be.
She called him Boris?
Bors. B-O-R-Z. And Bors looks over at the captain. I've never seen anything like this. Strange. Looks back. Well, he will have your thanks should he survive. I'm known as Bors. I was a warg rider in the Legion.
Boys, I feel like there's something we should tell you about the captain here. Do you guys want to explain? We've seen some crazy shit over the last few days, and somebody tell him about what could be going on with the captain, please. Especially, do you have children here?
I have young, yes.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we should tell him about that. But I'm not going to do it.
Okay. I mean, Rogar's not going to do it, probably.
And he kind of looks at Tuk and kind of furrows his brow.
Rogar doesn't have a full picture anyway of what happens.
Yeah, he looks over to Dayu, the only one not creepy in the room, because Altkar's wearing a blank mask, I might add. Doesn't look like anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And
I could, form a friendly face.
You could, but
mask.
you didn't. But you didn't. So,
I mean, now in the candlelight, do we see his gray skin?
You would see Zoltkar has gray flesh poking out from pieces of his armor. It does, and I will say, even Bors is kind of a little taken aback, looking you over. Very strange company indeed. Is there something very amiss with what's happened here?
His armor off.
So many unnatural things.
Yes, his chest plate has been taken off. Now the rest of his armor's on, but his main kind of breastplate's been taken off, and his swords have been laid next to him.
Zal was saying something to him.
Yeah, what were you saying, Sal?
I was just saying that we have seen many unnatural things.
Unnatural, as he kind of looks you over. Yes, indeed. I see a scaled one. I'm not sure what you are. Goblin and... Dayu, is your tattoo exposed?
No.
And
It's a sleeve, long sleeved kimono.
Yeah. You seem friendly enough, friend, but I did not catch any of your names.
My name is Dayu. No last name.
Well met, Dayu.
Tuk Tuk. And by the way, we're going into a town. We're going to town. I buttoned up, so you can't see mine.
I figured as much. I figured as much, yes.
I am Rogar.
And
Just say his name, and Rogar is going to move over towards the captain.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that the wound's exposed.
Oh, it is.
And
I need this man to live.
As do I. He is a very prestigious member of the Red Claw family.
We'll wait here with him.
and I will just sit down right next to him.
Okay.
Take out my sword and just kind of put it down.
Yeah. And
Take off my hand axes and javelins and stuff, and just like lay them down by the side and just waiting.
Okay. Zoltkar?
as I would introduce myself as, Zaltkar, but what I want to do is, make as though I'm taking my mask off, but as I pull my hand down over, it turns into my actual face, but it's just the mask on.
Okay. All right.
That way it looks like I took the mask off.
But you,
yeah. Yeah, but I just turned it into my own face.
Yeah. I get it. I like it. So you're still wearing it. It's good.
Yeah.
As you kind of do this, it's almost like magic. As you kind of wave your hand over your face, and the mask just disappears. And the kind of veteran soldier here kind of, I see you have abilities as well. Interesting. Regardless, Nazir should be here soon. She will know what to do. It should only be a moment. I do not know of the importance you guys may have stumbled upon, but if this man lives, you will be rewarded. I fought with his father in the final battle of the Blood and Ice.
Is no one going to tell him about?
I mean, Rogar. If no one's saying anything, Rogar is
I'm just letting them talk.
If Rogar is going to explain, if no one else is going to explain the beast
situation.
I mean, he doesn't. Rogar, I don't think knows that. Well, I don't know. He'll just explain that what he saw, I guess. So, chestbursters, lurkers.
Yeah, you kind of describing the creatures.
And how they attacked us in a facility. How we woke up.
How they go inside people and bust out of their
we'll say
stomach.
Bardock looks very...
I don't think any of us saw... We did see...
We didn't see a
first guard.
Well,
right?
we saw them burst, but we didn't see... we saw the
burrow.
The face huggers.
Yes, you did.
Infectors.
Yes.
We saw them try to latch onto people.
You did. You never actually saw them bite someone.
We never saw them actually bite, so we don't know what that does.
I will say,
we saw that.
Zoltkar did see one eerily close to his face.
Yeah, if Zoltar explains that part, that's
you did as well, so you guys could probably put one and two together. That is the same mouth.
They come out of people's stomachs. They got to go in somehow.
Yeah.
I just tell them.
So can
we make an educated guess that marking is from one of those crab-like things?
I will say that Zoltkar and Dayu definitely could.
Okay.
Because they saw the mouth so closely, eerily close, that they would easily be able to kind of point you in that direction. You guys are kind of having this conversation with Bars here, and
I don't know.
Bors, excuse me, with Bors, and Bors is just like he's very kind of sits there and listens, I see you all have had quite the night. Perhaps you're in more need of rest than it even appears. I have an extra room. You can stay in the barn with the axe. It's not the best, but it's comfortable.
How many
welcome
wargs did we see? Were there three?
One place to sleep.
You saw one warg. You might be able to assume there was two more.
Are their names Bones, Thugs, and Harmony?
There.
Can we? Okay. Can we just? That was the first thing I thought of.
Well, I guess they are now. I guess they are now.
Yes!
If you ever see them again, that's what they are.
Baby.
They're dead now.
They're all dead now. Killed them all.
Do Bones, Thugs, and Harmony? They live in that.
Are you asking
barn?
him if Bones lives in the barn?
Where does Bones stay?
He stays nearby. Him and a few other riders. We settled here after the war, and they are sentries. They keep us safe mostly from anything within the land, at least. From the sea is a different story.
Well, to be honest, I don't feel 100% comfortable just leaving you alone with this because of what we've seen. I feel like at least one or two we should take shifts, maybe, and people should stay here with the body. Just because I don't want these facehuggers to attack your children. You've been so kind to give us a place to stay.
They're not facehuggers, damn it!
Whatever they are, these what do we call
Copyright
them then,
infringement.
DM?
God damn it!
Legally,
What do we call them?
legally
Those are-
distinct.
Those are hive infectors.
These
Um,
damn hive infectors.
Now I will say, none of you know what these are. I'm just giving you these names
Yeah.
so we have something to call
These
them
crab
by.
things.
These could talk, yeah, whatever, crab
Yeah,
things,
we'll call them crab
whatever the
things.
hell you want to call it. Yeah,
Little crab things will come out of the body.
Yeah.
I feel like we shouldn't be alone.
and
As
I'm
you
assuming
say-
we all. I'm assuming we. At least Rogarsh probably has plenty of scorch marks from acid burns.
oh
on
yeah,
his
yeah.
body.
Lots of you guys don't look like you're in
Yeah.
very good shape. So yeah, you guys look bad, in fact. But as Tuk finishes that statement, the door slides open, the front door, and you see another form outside. Well, you see two forms. You see the hobgoblin woman that left already, Kilks, whom you will at this point will have noted as Bors's wife, his mate. But the woman you do see, there's a woman behind her moving in, and she's clothed in loose robes of blue and white. She has a head covering adorned with a jeweled necklace shaped in the aspect of Boel, the goddess. This would be very familiar to Tuk, as he is intimately familiar with another person of the same order. This is a priestess of Boel, the water bearer. She has several gourds dangling from a thickly wrapped cloth belt around her, and she looks like she's moving with haste. And she moves into the room. Yes, Attendant Nazir. He has this wound, and they've described some kind of creature, parasite maybe. And she pushes past you. Now she is you will all have noticed that she is not a hobgoblin. She's actually an elf. And she has very pale skin. She moves past all of you. I will need some space. And she begins to look over the captain. She takes a gourd from her hip and uncorks it and begins pouring water over the wound. You see it begin to kind of sizzle and burn. Oh, that's not good. And Redclaw kind of moves for a second. He makes the first noise you've heard him make this whole time. This will take time to heal. We will need to bring him to my temple. Not now, though. Let me stabilize him first. And this will take a few hours at least. She looks at the rest of you. I'm afraid I cannot attend to your wounds while I'm dealing with this, but you, and she points towards Zaltkar, the one that looks in the worst shape.
Yes, ma'am.
Come closer.
And I do.
and you will receive 6 points of healing as she places a hand across your chest, and you feel divine energy, very familiar energy, enter into your body. And as she does so, you notice that she has what looks like a flask, like attached to almost like a pendant on her chest, on her robes. And it looks like it was full of water. And then as she presses into you, it begins to empty until it is gone and you are healed.
All right, thank you very much.
It's the least I can do. I'm sorry I do not have much else. But if you see me in the morning, I might be able to help if you need any more looking after. But
one good night's rest, and I'll see how I feel in the morning.
Of course, and she kind of looks at you for a moment, Zotkar. Yes, I'm sure we will talk eventually. And she's going to take her time. She's kind of begins to mutter prayers and incantations, putting her hands over the body of the captain. And it's going to take a few hours. So what would you guys like to do?
I would like to eat. Get that part out of the way so I can gain
it's like afternoon or evening now.
It's like midnight.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's getting late.
I want a Scooby sandwich and then I want to go to bed.
Yeah. Now you guys, I will say you guys would have gotten to the farm when it was like, we'll call it 10. So we'll call it like 11 now. So
eat my bowl of rice and go to sleep.
Yeah, you guys kind of eat your rice. Do you go out?
Are they providing food?
Yes. Boars will, of course. He does have rice on hand. He's a rice farmer. He has, and he unfortunately is like, I'm sorry, I don't have much in the way of meat. And he kind of looks towards Rogar. I know you're kind to Joy, but this is the best I have.
Rogar takes it and nods and will eat it, but he's trying to hide his pleasure, but he does not like it.
Yeah.
Kind of eating it. Yeah.
It just doesn't fill you. It doesn't fill you the way it should.
No.
I'm going to be hungry in an hour.
Yeah, that's true. It is just a bowl of rice. I will say there's more to it than just rice. There's some simple like
sushi?
Vegetables and some stuff like that mixed in.
Sushi?
There is no sushi.
Oh, we're on the coast. So we're by the ocean.
You are on the coast, but
damn it,
Boars does not have sushi available for you.
I'm gonna flex my feet on this one.
Okay. What are you gonna do?
I'm just judging it. Judging.
Yeah.
If I saw it prepared,
Yeah.
Okay.
Rated 2 stars on
I will say
I just want to judge them.
This is not. This is. I will say, Dayu. You took the chef feat, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. So one that's skilled in cooking. You can tell that this is, while it is not a skilled cook, this is a practical meal. This is a soldier's meal. This would be the equivalent of rations that he is making for all of you, and it looks like it. You also see a few other bowls on the counter that his wife has not attended to yet. That looks like he eats the same thing. Doesn't appear that there's a lot in the form of wealth in this house.
He's a farmer.
He is a farmer. Very simple.
Yeah, Dayu would thank them for it. Very hospitable.
Are you guys all going to go to sleep?
Yes.
No.
Unless physically removed, Rogar is going to sleep inside this room with.
Okay.
Captain.
So I'll say, did the rest of you move to leave?
No.
I want to go sleep in the barn.
Okay. Zoltkar and Dayu, you're going to go sleep in the barn?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Tuk and Rogar? You're staying.
I'd like to just at least be in the building and in the room with the priestess. And now seeing the priestess,
yes,
it just makes me think of home, and I wouldn't feel good about leaving the priestess here alone with what potential danger there may be. So I offer to keep watch with her and
okay,
and with Rogar, and then maybe Rogar and I can take turns watching and sleep on the floor here.
That's fair. And Boar's kind of seeing that you guys are very serious about this creature that you described to him. That's fine. Yes, let me get. And he kind of goes to one of the side rooms and he brings out 2 mats and kind of rolls them out on the floor, 2 bedrolls essentially, for you guys to rest upon. Rogar, your man's not tall enough for you because you're huge. So either your feet or your head are sticking off this mat when you go to sleep. But I'm sure it doesn't matter to him anyway.
No.
I put my mat, I butted up to the end of his.
Oh,
because
yes.
I'm sure it's too big for me, and I'll
That's
sleep.
true. Yeah.
We'll go feet to feet.
Go feet to feet?
and I'll sleep at the
Yeah,
I'll
ass to
kind of
ass.
curl up at the top of mine so
Do
he
it.
can have his
Mhm.
so he can stretch out.
Yeah, that's
He
fine.
did protect me quite a bit. He let me
It's true.
skulk alongside him.
So the 2 of you kind of set up in here, and we are going to flash over to Zoltkar and Dayu. So here's what happens.
Uh-oh.
Let's see here. Who's going to sleep? Are you guys just both immediately going to sleep?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. All right, we'll do that. And the other 2, Rogar and Tuk Tuk. Is there anything you guys want to discuss or anything right now before we take a night's rest?
Unless Tuk Tuk does, Rogar is pretty much focused on Red Claw. So
And I would ask, did the priestess tell us her name?
This, you would have heard it as Nazir. Yes, she's
Nazir,
very
that's right, you
focused
said
on
that.
her current task, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot. Then I could probably tell that she's super focused, and I could also tell that Rogar is,
Yeah.
focused
I will say
as well.
that unless you guys are staying up like super late, you won't need to make a perception test or anything like that. We can just say that the night is ended. Go ahead and you guys can take a short rest, because a short rest is a night's rest in this campaign. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Tuk Tuk. It is.
Does that get rid of our thing or not?
It doesn't get rid of exhaustion. Only a
Exhaustion.
long rest will
Oh,
get rid of your
man.
exhaustion.
We have to sleep for like 3 days or something. How's that work?
Yep. Basically, well, the way this is going to work, the long rest, essentially you have to perform the tasks of a long rest for a full 24 hours, which means no combat, no excessive training or anything crazy like that. The only one that this will affect is Zoltkar. You can't wear your armor because it's medium armor. You can't wear it during a long rest. Everyone else,
Okay.
light armor and no armor is fine. But other than that, you just take a day. You're taking a chill day to recoup, basically, when you take a long rest.
Okay.
So the night will pass, and
So I got 6.
all of you will have taken a short rest. Now, I need to ask, do you guys plan on spending some time here to recover yourselves?
I don't feel like I have much of a choice, but I gotta do
Zoltkar's
the
not
work
looking
is.
good, but the rest of you, are you going to be recovering yourselves?
are they offering this to stay? I guess.
I will say that Boars, because Zoltkar was so persuasive, will offer you a place to stay here in the barn if you want. But there are other places to stay in town. If you'd like, there is actually an actual town, and I will get to that. But I just want to know if you guys are going to be taking a extended rest so you can level up.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
recover from your exhaustion,
Hell yeah.
or if you guys
Yes.
are just doing stuff and just pressing through.
Rogar,
Resting.
yeah,
Okay,
I
all right.
think, yeah.
All right.
I would like
All
to do all of the things to make
Okay.
me better.
Can
So
are we getting an opportunity to explain what we do during the week?
Yes,
Okay.
we're going to be doing that.
Okay, cool.
In just a moment, I'm going to explain Conwitch to you real quick because you're going to have the run of the town.
Okay.
Let me
So-
get my notes out.
Yeah, you get your notes out, you bastard. So, essentially, what you guys see is in the morning. I'm assuming you guys probably help escort Red Claw because he's still unconscious. He looks like he's got a little more color in his cheeks, and Azir takes him to her temple, which is located in town. It is an hour from this farm to the actual square, the town of Conwitch. Now, most of the people who live in Conwitch actually live in farms outside of town. It's more of just a hub where people meet. It is a village close to the coast of the biting waves where a fair amount of farming and fishing are done. It has little in the form of walled protection outside of a very rough-looking gate on the one road in, and what looks like wooden stakes that have been sharpened and kind of placed around, and a makeshift barrier around a pseudo-town square and a collection of buildings. It looks like a very poor community. You could tell, judging from just the lack of maintenance done to several of the buildings and the fence itself. There is a large market on the inside that has various vendor stalls and things like that set up where they sell food, and so there's probably a couple people hawking goods every once in a while. But from what you gather as your time spent in this community, that it is the only other port in the country besides Port Girona, and it is survived mostly due to the fact that there is a very lucrative gold trade that runs through this town from the almost avoided town of Zinmouth out on an island on a reef outside of you have to go through the biting waves to get to it.
Oh yeah.
And the village is relatively spread out with its occupants all mostly running farms, like I said. There is a small port, mostly fishing ships, very small ships. There are 3 large vessels, and they're all owned by a Morag Bittersnout. He owns all of them, and it is the Bittersnout Trading Company is the official kind of tag that you see on these ships. The majority of all shipping to and from Conwitch comes through these vessels. There is an inn and a tavern named the Dirty Ox Inn, and there's a general store called the Codfather. There also is a warehouse for goods to be kept in town, and something like a hall/jail, kind of doubles it both, which looks to have been formerly a kind of watchtower. Very beat down. It is one of the very few completely stone buildings.
Quite a few things all along it.
There's not a lot inside. Not a lot. It's very empty in there. There are cells and things like that, but there's also a large hall where people can meet. You would notice that there are a few cages hanging over the water that come off of the side of this fort. One of them does in fact have a skeleton in it. The other one has a body that we will get to later. but
Zolkar
yes,
takes particular interest.
You will now, and I will get to that. I just want to cover the rest first. So you do see this watchtower. There is also a small temple, which you guys will be familiar with, dedicated to Boel, the water bearer, run by Attendant Nazir, the priestess. And in addition to this, there's a very it's not small, but it's small compared to the other existing lighthouse in the dynasty. But there's a lighthouse up on the cliff overlooking the village and the kind of bay sea area nearby. So that is the kind of general layout of town and what's what. So feel free to do as you please. But first, we will start. We're going to go in a clockwise order. So that will bring me to Zoltkar.
Yes.
First off, you leveled up.
Okay.
What did your level up entail?
Let's see what I get. I actually didn't level up because I didn't know if I was going to make it.
You made it.
It gives me a fighting style.
Fighting style. Okay, so yes. I will say, when we're kind of just do a brief round of what all our level ups are before we get into what we're going to do. So, Zoltkar, how do you gain this ability, this new fighting style? Is it just something you practiced and pick up on finally, or?
I think it would be something that I was on the verge of, maybe mastering the final kata of whatever I'm at right now, and had focused on that just enough through this extended rest to master the final form of that to bring me into my fighting style. And as we've been resting, because I can't look like I'm weak. I would have doffed my armor, but I would have disguised self.
Okay.
As I'm wearing my armor, but
all right,
carrying my crossbow and my scimitar, but looking like I'm wearing my armor, not actually wearing it.
Yeah. That's fair. Easily done. With your mask. So with that in mind, Zoltkar, you will have the most time that you had to spend kind of really taking it easy. You will have to have taken 2, almost 3 days to get rid of all of the exhaustion you piled up. Yeah.
Taking it easy.
Probably saw the priestess at a few points, and not sure if you talked to her about divinity and whatnot, because you both are worshippers of deities, active worshippers, which I will say is not very common in the dynasty. There's not a lot of people that just are just like, oh, I'm a follower of Boel, or I'm a follower of Elysia, I'm a follower of Akraz. It doesn't happen very often. Usually it's just clergy member. They're kind of like a thing that people just go to when they need something. But,
I would imagine if she had any inclination to where I may have hailed from, that she would be intrigued by the fact that I'm a dude.
I will say that she would be interested for sure, but you will pick this up very easily. And Nazir's not a lady that pries into people very readily. So unless you offer something up, she's not going to ask you anything.
Given the nature of me keeping secrets, probably not going to tell her a whole lot.
Okay. All right. So Zoltkar, is there anything you would like to do around town in the interim? Now, I will say, because you had the most time to rest, I will give you one thing that you would like to have done in town.
I would seek knowledge. That's what I am tasked to do. So I would make sure there wasn't any bit of knowledge that left unturned while I'm in this area to add to Ozela's knowledge overall.
Okay, go ahead and give me a investigation check.
All right, let's find out what that looks like.
No disadvantage. You're good now.
I'm all good.
You're all healed up. No more exhaustion.
Nothing to do with feeling good. I'm breathing again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. It's just a 7. I get no bonuses.
A 7. Okay.
Yeah.
So you spend most of your time just kind of around town. Is Zoltkar personable?
He would appear approachable, and he would feign courtesy. He wouldn't be rude, but he's not going to give you the real deal.
All right. Do you okay. Well, we'll put it like this then. Okay. You spend most of your time kind of looking around town, not really going in many places and kind of doing a very thorough investigation. Mostly you're healing.
Right.
And you probably spend
low key.
Yes. You probably spend most of your time meditating, between meditation and mastering your fighting stance, that you don't discover much in town other than what we've already discussed. So there is that.
Probably be thinking more distracted by the horrors that I saw.
Yes, indeed. And if you were to check in on the good captain every once in a while, you would notice that nothing has burst from his body, but he has not regained consciousness as of yet, and it's been days. And she's constantly working over him, and it looks like she's becoming exhausted at certain points, but she is doing her best for whatever it's going to entail. Next, so with that, we'll probably leave you there, Zoltkar.
Yep.
And I would be going to die you, but he has stepped away. So Rogar.
In the divine smite.
Rogar. Yes, you did. You also do get access to Divine Smite, Zolgar. So you will have gained another bond with Olesia, and you can now channel her divinity into a melee attack.
Despite my abject failure.
Yes, she has decided to grace you with something.
Oh man, we'll find out.
Yeah. So Rogar, what does your level look like, and what do you do during time? You will get 2 things. Because you were not beat down like the rest of them.
Okay. So what my level up basically is, I gained relentless attacks, which allows me to roll with advantage, but also in doing so, giving the enemies a chance to hit me with advantage on the following turn. I also get Danger Sense. I have advantage on dexterity saving throws against effects that I can see while not blinded, deafened, or incapacitated.
Oh, yes.
And then, more health.
Yes, of course. So what does that look like for Rogar in the interim? Does he just kind of sharpen his kind of primal senses? Or how does this happen?
Rogar is going to spend most of his time with the captain as much as he can. Okay. He probably would have followed, and if they allow him to stay in the temple, he's going to stay in the temple.
Nazir won't turn you away. In fact, you will notice, since you're actually spending a lot of time in the temple, you would notice that the temple itself, it's actually called the Water's Rest.
The Water's Rest. Okay.
You can tell that Nazir is the only priestess here, the only priestess in this whole village.
All right.
The temple itself is very small. There's no pews or anything like that.
I'm sorry, you said the Water's Rest?
Water's Rest, yes. There's no really furniture that you can see. It consists mostly of just a large circular room there is a well in the center of this room for drawing water. The door is usually always open, Rogar, save for if any inclement weather moves in. That's when the doors are closed to keep the hazards out. But during the day, anybody's free to come and go as they please. There are large, what look like paper blinds along the wall that can be moved to create makeshift rooms. And you actually see this happen as she kind of makes a makeshift, almost like a hospital bed room around the captain. There's a number of bedrolls, one she puts out for him. She will gladly roll a bedroll out for you as well if you'd like to stay. And you would see that there is an assortment of basins and gourds and various other water-catching vessels that kind of decorate around this room, around the edges. There's also an altar behind the well from the door, and there's a very beautiful sculpture depicting the well. It's a womanly figure in very not a lot of clothing, very minimal amount of clothing, holding a large vase on her shoulder. She of course has a long hood obscuring most of her features, but the vase is depicted very intricately, like she's bringing it to the people. Behind that, there is a door that leads into Nazir's personal quarters, which are also very sparse.
Rogar would be definitely staying there if allowed. And
yes.
Would people are less people coming since there's a dragonborn inside?
I will say that it's interesting, Rogar. Not a lot of people come to begin with, from what you see. Occasionally, there might be somebody that kind of walks in with like a hangover, looking for a little pick-me-up. Mm-hmm. I will say probably at one point somebody actually got hurt fishing or something like that, and they'd come in and she'd patch them up, but nothing too serious.
Okay.
But word is going round that there is a dragon man staying at the Water's Rest. So
does that count as one of my things to do?
I will say if you're going to spend that much time there, that will count as one.
Okay. Then that's one of my things, standing there. The other thing would be to kind of hone his level up and stuff, and also just to try to pay back probably Boars and his family, and in addition to Nazir, he would go hunting.
Okay. All right. You go hunting?
Yes.
I'll say this, Rogar. Boars, if you were to come to him and you offer a hunt, he basically has a conversation with you. Well, that's very appreciated. You can accompany Bones. He usually is the one hunting any game nearby. I'm assuming you don't want to go on the water.
No. Rogar has no experience with water.
Yeah,
and it scares him.
And he kind of doesn't, he's, yes, that makes sense. But yes, and if you want a couple nights, you and Bones could go on a hunt. Go ahead and give me a survival check.
All right.
Let's see how well you do.
Let's see. Last roll wasn't that great. 20, not natural.
Okay. Very
Not
good.
natural. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. You actually, Rogar, I will say that you actually kill and slaughter 2 large pigs, boars, in fact, nearby. Tons of meat, shitloads of meat. These are like 500-pound boars. They're
Bigger
massive.
than me? Impressive. I like it.
They're big. They're big.
Rogar keeps 1 tusk as a trophy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You keep a tusk. Bones
Bacon.
also is very pleased that you are so good at hunting. You probably have earned a kinship with a warg. So
palling around with Bones in the wilderness.
You're both very. You don't like a lot of
What
people.
about Thugs in Harmony?
Thugs in Harmony? I will say this. I'll give you this, Rogar, since you are spending time. You know that there are 2 other wargs, and they each are all former warg riders from other farms, and the 3 of them patrol the edge of the farmland, and so for the most part they kind of stay out. But if you'd be going out to where Bones kind of his main hunting
his territory
patch is.
Okay. Yeah.
So
but yeah, I would bring a fair amount of meat to Rogar is going to eat his fair share, but he's also going to bring a lot to Boars and to Nazir.
Okay. And they are very grateful. I will say that during the winter, meat can be hard to come by, and what you will have also noticed, you're not really focused on that, so you wouldn't have noticed.
Okay.
You're just not that guy, unfortunately.
Cool.
So
that's fine.
Yeah. All right. So let me scroll back now. The clock is going to rewind slightly. And Dayu, what does your level up look like, Dayu?
Dayu gets key and unarmored movement.
Okay. And how does one focus and regain this possibly lost ability?
I would get his back. Say he never really lost it, but he didn't practice it. He's very big on his meditation, and he would occasionally go off away from the group, find his own private time, and channeling my inner it man, like do the little moves on like a tree or something.
Oh yeah, Karate Kid style.
Hell yeah, bro!
Out there spending key points, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. Spending that key. I will say, Dayu, it is referred to in the dynasty sometimes as Ka. I know that sounds weird. That's just for flavor, but you call it whatever the hell you want.
Hey, if I remember to call it Ka, I'll call it Ka.
All right.
Ka! And then unarmed movement, so I get 10 feet of extra movement if I'm not wearing armor or a shield. So
very awesome.
And I have 40 feet of movement.
And 2 things that you would like to do during this rest, Dayu.
And apart from just going into town, and he'd want to get cooking utensils because I don't have any of those.
Okay, that can be easily acquired from a certain place, depending on what you.
The Codfather.
The Codfather can meet your needs. The Codfather it's a small general store. There is a hanging above the outside of the door, and it's not a very big building. There is a sign, and it has like the bones of a fish, like fish bones, and there's a cigar sticking out of the mouth of the fish at the end. And that's kind of the sign hanging above the Codfather establishment.
Is it affiliated? is it part of the Mire?
My next question is
not. It is not.
Do I have a contact here?
You do not have a contact here. You would know that it's very small. It's full of rickety shelves and broken display cases. They mostly sell basic items, but occasionally we'll sell some more exotic goods, possibly traded in by who knows who. There is a goblin named Weevil that owns the place and operates the counter. There's a room in the back where all the goods are stored and probably where he sleeps. He wears several very gaudy chains of gold and silver over his very cheap but somewhat fancy kimono. And he always has a pipe in his mouth. In addition to this,
looks like cousin.
In addition, there is a large, what can only be described as an ogre, because it is an ogre.
Oh God!
That sleeps behind the counter, named Bucket.
You bastard!
He's dressed in a too small, cheap yet fancy kimono as well that has been patched to kind of fit around his bulbous body.
Oh no!
And he has a very large club that he rests his head on, and he lazily sleeps most of the day.
Are they wearing like faux silks, like fake silk or something?
It's like
cheap,
it's obviously
cheap
it's like cheap. It's like an attempt to be fancy,
leather
but it's
and...
not. Yeah, exactly. It's bad. It's bad, is what it is.
Does he have a gold tooth?
He does not have a gold tooth. So you can easily acquire goods from Weevil. If you so choose. We'll say cooking utensils, a full set. That'll probably set you back. Weevil will sell it to you for 5 silver.
I'll pay it. I can afford it.
Okay. All right, and he greedily kind of scoops it over the counter.
Yeah, I don't bother haggling with him.
Yeah, and there you go. So that is one thing down. Would you like to do anything else?
The other thing he would do when he goes to town, he would go out onto like a pier or a dock, and he would write a haiku and then like leave it somewhere.
Yes, I love it.
Like put a rock on the paper and like leave it on the dock somewhere.
Okay, all right. Do you have something in mind, or do you just want to just?
I wasn't prepared for it, so
that's fine. That's fine. So we'll say that you write the haiku. You get inspiration for this because I love it.
It would be about wintertime in the farm.
Yeah. You can give yourself inspiration because that's awesome. Yeah. I will say if you go out onto the pier, you will see that there is a. Of course, there is the shipping industry there, run by. Oh damn it! I have so many sheets open here.
Morag.
There we go. Thank you. run by Morag, and he's a bugbear. And he doesn't look very happy. He's missing a couple teeth when he smiles. If you ever see him smile, it's usually just a scowl. And you see him in and out of town a couple times. He leaves at least once and then comes back on one of his ships. And most of his ships are manned by a ragtag crew of goblins, bugbears. You do see a few hobgoblins, not many. Yes.
Never mind. We're in Conwitch. So
yeah, we're in Conwitch. Yes.
I can't see the Temple of Blades from here.
No, you cannot. No, it is way too far away to see the Temple of Blades. You can't even see Zenmouth from here. It is quite some ways. Now you could see one of the larger kind of islands across that makes up the Shallows. One of these black sand islands across the way here. You would see kind of an assortment of trees, and what normally you would be able to see cherry blossoms, but they're currently not in bloom, and you instead see blue blossoms on the far distant side. And it's very small. You would need the spyglass to get detail. But that is that. So with that, let's flip on over to our final contestant. Let's see what Tuk. What's your level up look like, Tuk?
So Tuk thinks back to his mentor, senpai.
You could just say brother, or respected brother, elder.
And I try to recall what he did, and so I spent some time on the farm doing target practice with my crossbow and doing some slinking around the shadows and just kind of practicing and with my tanto and my daggers and stuff.
All right.
I have a friendly competition with Dayu and his Yumi.
Friendly.
Yeah, except you can't really see me because I'm in the shadows doing it. I don't want anyone to see me.
You see the bolt come out and stick.
Bolt fly by.
And then I spent some time at the temple with
Nazir.
Nazir, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
So, question: is there a saying or anything that followers of the Boel, the water bear, would say?
There's a tradition where they basically say that may her waters have mercy upon you.
Yeah. Okay. So I would have said that when I first met her.
Of course.
Yeah. I would spend some time meditating with Nazir at the temple, and just kind of hanging out there. So that'd be my level up process.
You'd be seeing a lot of Rogar. Rogar he doesn't leave often, so you'd be seeing him quite a bit as well.
Yeah, basically when he goes to hunt, I go to practice.
All right.
But yeah, so that's how I level up to level 2, and my guy doesn't get a whole lot because my race already had the whole nimble escape thing, which gives me a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I get the cunning action and some hit points.
Awesome.
And then so then my actions, I got 1 action, 2 actions. What do I get?
You'll get 2. So 2 things you'd like to do in town.
Is there any way I can kind of skulk around and see if I can identify any thieves' cant, anything?
Okay. All right. I like
underground society type thing.
I like it a lot. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. I'll give you advantage.
Okay.
Because I kind of know what you're getting at.
I rolled it's an 18. All right. I rolled a 9 and 18, so I'm glad you gave me that advantage because I think I have for investigation +0. So yeah, 18. 18.
Okay. With that, there are 2 things that you're going to discover. First off, the most obvious one. You would have noticed the corpse hanging from the cage, and it is a corpse. It's dead. It's a goblin. Looks an awful lot like your senpai.
No.
He is hanging from the cage. You don't know how long he's been there. Sork he's very much dead. And you know it's him because you see the tattoo on his chest. And you were sent. You were asked to accompany him by his boss, your father, Gon Giant's Blood. You two were sent out from the City of Glass to intercept a caravan. You were supposed to discreetly remove an item from some caravan. Obviously, you never made it. And apparently, Sork never made it either. And you see him very much dead and hanging there. Don't know what he was executed for, but he was executed nonetheless. Regardless of that, in addition to that, You also see. You also
That's
figure
a bomb.
it is a bomb. You do also hear some speaking happening from in the Dirty Ox Inn. You notice there is cant being used. To everyone else, it just sounds like kind of a normal conversation, but for you, something tips you off a little bit. The Dirty Ox Inn, the sign outside depicts an ox taking a shit, with kind of looking back at you, kind of from the ass level, and the sign is hanging above the door.
That's amazing.
It's a decently sized establishment, 2 stories, with a bar on the inside. Once you slide the doors aside to get inside, there's a few tables, not many. However, the common room also butts up to the ox stable, which most of the farmers use when in town to store their animals, hence the horrible smell throughout the whole bottom floor here. Now, it's not like directly leads into it, but it's right up against it. So he also runs the stable here. The rooms upstairs, if you ever make it up there, are very shitty, poor. With the sliding paper that has so many holes in it, it might as well not exist. You might as well just have an open door. And the bedrolls look heavily used. We'll just call it that. The whole place is run by a bugbear named Boruk. He owns the place, and he runs the tavern and stable himself with the help of a few hobgoblin and goblin serving girls and his 2 brothers, Gork and Dork, who are also bugbears. You will notice that Boruk, Gork, and Dork are all using cant when speaking to each other several times over, and you actually see with that investigation, you actually see Boruk as he's passing a glass to Gork. You actually see a tattoo slip out from underneath his kind of buttoned up shirt, and you see just the tip of a tattoo when you would recognize another member of the Mar.
Not my same affiliation, though.
It would be hard to tell without talking to him. Now, he's obviously not in the same gang as you, but which pillar he might work under, you would have to find out.
What were they talking about?
They were speaking specifically of incoming shipments, mostly through Morag's shipping company. But they also are talking about things shifting in the organization. Apparently, a member died recently, an important member.
Could it be someone I know? All right, so I would definitely, when I saw Sork, I would have probably hit my knees immediately. And I'm not the most religious person, but growing up around it, I think I would start to question things and just kind of have a moment of like, why, you know? But then, so once I see Borat,
shoot your crossbow off in the air a couple times.
Why?
Yeah,
just crying down the street with myself. But yeah, so Borak, Gork, and Dork.
Yep.
If I overheard that, you know, I would try to slip in and I am of the affiliation myself, guys. What
they'll kind of look at
what's
you.
the big change?
They'll look at you.
I've been in prison a little bit, and so I don't have any news. What news do you have?
They'll stare at you. And that, my friends, is where we're going to take our first break.
Oh.
So we'll be right back.
Hello there. Hello, criminal here.
Hello, criminal here. Hey guys, I want to be.
criminal.
Let's do some shady things. Real quick.
Let's do things.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, boys. It's gonna be great. Let's do some crimes together. Yes.
Yeah, I love
So
it.
we'll take a quick break, and we will be back soon.
I'm all about criming out loud.
Hello, fellow criminals.
Hello, fellow criminals. Hello.
I am a criminal too.
Criminals.
Hey,
Any of you
hey.
guys got like half a
You guys
marijuana?
serve time?